So as I say, sometimes what you can do as well when people have trouble with it is that we'll send the video manually, and then we'll just send them the
Okay.
direct. Yeah, we'll just send them direct link. And not to say you have to do that every time. I'm just letting you know that's the option, right? So you kind of
No,
it's
of course.
to me it's a style thing. It's like what's your flavor, you know? So it's like one style is like make them go through the quiz again and do it, or the other style is just give them the video. It's like, all right, no worries. Here's the video that you wanted to watch anyway. You know what I mean? So I
100%.
I don't care which way you do it, but I'm just letting you know that that's an option.
Okay. I personally do this. All right, well. Would you say that straight away when I asked there was no problem with the link, but would you still like just
Yeah,
send them the video?
yeah, that's fine. I'd be like, okay, well, and he says not at all. And it's like, well, here's the link anyway. Yeah, that's personally that's my choice. Like, I would go that
Yeah,
instead of making him retake the quiz because if they already did it,
yeah. No,
like,
same. Okay. That's
um,
perfect.
that's my choice. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen it like ruin a sale either way.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. Yeah.
And that's the right link, just to make sure.
Yes, that is the right link. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
We're just gonna skip the next part.
I was like, okay, love it. What did you think of that acknowledgement?
Not bad. It's pretty
I was
pretty
I
good.
was I was unsure whether to like would you have kind of dug deeper as like don't understand like he'd love to understand the mathematics, or do we not want to do we want to go into that much detail, or would we just move on to this part of the script?
Yeah, so the way I like to think of it is whenever we see so the mathematics part, that
Yeah.
to me is just him like letting us know that he is curious and wants to dive in more, but it's not necessarily something we have to address like super deeply, you know? So that's why
Okay.
I think the knowledge acknowledgement's perfect at the top. And then obviously this transition phrase that we're using where it's like I may have a way to help you to take this even deeper, like that
Yeah.
works out really good because he's already telling us that he's curious, he's like, I don't know. I'd
Exactly.
love to understand. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Thank
love
you.
that transition. It's like so it's very smooth. It's very smooth.
It just works for everything.
Yeah, I may have a way to help you take this even deeper.
You don't get it? No problem. What do you think of that? That's what I usually say. Or like depending.
Yeah, no problem. I like that. I think I mean we didn't I know this is super tiny. Like this is not me nitpicking.
Mm.
This is gonna what I'm gonna say right here is so nitpicky. It's like but it's just a little thing. Like double
No,
smiley,
dude, yeah.
right? So you have smiley face one, smiley face two. It's like
Yeah.
you're not smiley face two, you know. But I like the question though. I think that's good.
Okay, fair.
That's why I said it's like super nitpicky. It's like not gonna ruin stuff, but it's just more of like yeah, it's just like a little thing.
No, it's a good observation though.
Yeah, so what I'll say right here is like when I said I'm off now, you didn't even necessarily even have to re-ask the question. Like if I yeah, you could have just gone right into it. Yeah. So
Gone, no problem.
yeah. So even if there's a little gap, that's okay because like when people come back to the conversation, they kind of remember the context of everything, you know? So
That's fair.
the only time in which they wouldn't remember the context would be like if it was like 4 days later, you know, or like it was just like
Exactly.
a very significant amount of time. Um, but I would say for here, yeah, we are good. So you didn't have to. Again, is it going to ruin stuff? Probably not. But it's just add
Mm.
an extra question that you didn't necessarily need to ask. Yeah.
No, 100%. Thank you.
Yeah. Decidedly in this account, there are times in which we get these ridiculous long love letters. Like
I can tell.
I've seen them like 10 bubbles long is what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, we sometimes we just need to, you obviously are gonna copy paste that into ChatGPT. Yeah. Um,
100%. I've seen this actually. I read this chat as well. I was reading it and I was like, "Ooh,
I mean, people tell us about their ayahuasca ceremonies and their DMT experiences and their mushrooms experience. They tell us about all that stuff.
they're getting real deep." Do you think that would work there, Wally?
It does work. It does work.
Mm,
So there are what I'll say is that there are some scenarios where the pre-VLD or like that script works really good, you know?
yeah,
And so I said this in this specific scenario, the pre-VLD scripts worked really good because he says, "Where's the beginning?" So like, go scroll up a little bit, just what Rita said. So it says, "Where's the beginning of my teachings? How do you take someone on a journey of fully explaining sacred geometry and then witnessing it everywhere in life?" So I like the
yeah,
acknowledgement you gave at the top. So scroll down, yeah, the journey of that, da 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 da. And then I think the transition into the pre-VLD script works really good too, where it's like if you look at that piece of the script, it says, um, it goes into, I just started this new group for a few more dedicated seekers like you who want to decode da 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 da. This is the exact system I developed over the last 40 years. You see that part of the script I'm talking about?
yeah. I'm on it now. Sorry, I'm not sharing my
No, no, worry,
chat.
no, no, that's all good. I'm looking at the script too. I'm not looking at your screen.
Okay,
so,
no problem.
so on the script, you can see it right here. I have it highlighted. But yeah, like
Yeah,
that section would have been really good right here, right? Because he kind of asked us, because like if you look at his question, so scroll up just a little bit so we can read it again.
yeah,
He's saying like, where is the beginning of your teachings? How do you take someone on a journey of fully understanding sacred geometry and then witnessing it everywhere in life? So that that first acknowledgement where you say the journeying, understanding that first section is good. And then you could have
yeah.
gone right into, I just started this new group for a few more dedicated seekers like you who want to decode and da 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 da. Just you could have literally used that whole script chunk. That
Use
would
the
it
whole one. Okay.
was a little wordy, but it works well because he actually asked us about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and not to say that this does work, um, but
The
there
other
are,
one would have.
well, in this specific scenario, the other one would have been more compelling
Yeah.
than this one. Yeah, than this pre-VLD script.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I put that in there. It's like off the boat. Not sure where that is, but just something to keep in mind right there where it says you'll have access to
Oh,
lessons even when you're off the boat. So I didn't say anything
oops.
about a boat.
I think I put that into my own doc from yesterday. Apologies. I should have read
Oh
it.
no, all good. But yeah, I like where you're going with that. But just something to remember with the script chunks, you might need to edit them just a smidge, you know.
No, yeah.
So yeah, but no, that's not a problem. It's flexible, da 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 da. So yeah, you have access to the lessons. Even yeah. So I would say the better way to say it would be like you'll have access to the lessons, so that way you can go at your own pace whenever you have time.
Yeah.
Um, and then let me know if you have any other questions.
Yeah.
Is not an ideal way to end. Is not an ideal way to end like your statement, so to speak. We always want to end like the last thing we want to say is what I call a leading question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like that last thing right there, like when you say, "Let me know if you have any other questions," that's a statement, right? Because it's a statement, it doesn't allow them to respond, or I'm not prompting them to respond back,
Yeah.
right?
Should have been like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it could have been like, "Does that make sense? Does that clear things up?" Right?
Yeah.
There's a couple things that we can do, but yeah, like we want to I always like to end with a question, if
Yes.
possible. There are some times where I'll make a statement and I'll just let it sit. The only time in which you could do that is in a live chat scenario. So let's say that
Yeah.
someone is like talking to you right now and they're responding back really quickly, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that that's the only time in which I would say you are allowed to make a statement and you can let it
For
sit there.
sure.
Now the problem with
Yeah.
that though is that they could read it and still ghost, right? So if you make a
I
statement,
know.
so if you make a statement and you do it strategically to see if they're going to respond and they ghost you for longer than like 5-10 minutes, then you're going to need to follow up with them again with a leading question.
No, 100%. Okay. Noted, noted, noted.
Yeah, and this is where we're getting into the closing side, right? So yeah, I would say you did really smooth at the very top, and so now we're learning how to chat close. You know what I mean?
No, exactly, because it's not something I've done before. It's more just booking a call.
Yeah, yeah. So we want to. So the formula is basically we acknowledge what they said, right? So you said great question,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Then the next piece is we overcome the objection or answer the question, whatever it is. And then the last
Yeah.
piece is we add on a leading question, right? So that's like
Yes.
our three set formula. So acknowledge,
Okay.
answer the question or overcome the objection, and then ask a leading question.
For sure.
All right, so let's
send this question
let's recraft that response right there. So
yeah, will I just send it again like how
yeah, just send it again. Just send it again. Yeah, so just retype it, or you can, yeah. Shakti, the feeling of interconnection. I can already see what's going on in that chat up there. That's funny. Anyway, you can read the little. All right, so this is a great one right here. Perfect. So they've already opted in, right? They watched the video, they came back and asked a question. So we don't need to re-ask them about the video. We're in a so once that VSL has been dropped and they respond, we've totally switched. Okay, we're now in closing mode, and so like we are trying to push that conversation towards a sale, right? So scroll down to your response.
Yeah.
Right, so if I say yes makes sense after you've overcome my objection or answered my question, right? So basically, the analogy I want to give you is that my foot is always on the gas pedal, right? So at any point in time, if there's not a direct no, or like there's not like any resistance, then I can move the conversation forward one more step, if that makes sense, right? So
no, it does, yeah.
So meaning like I just said yes makes sense. I'm not saying no. I don't have another question. There's nothing there, right? So so for us on the closing side, it's our job to take the initiative here, right? Like sometimes sometimes the people that we were talking to, like they need to be led to the sale sometimes, right?
Of course.
And so in this case, you answer my question, yes, makes sense. And so like technically I could not give you another response right here, right? That could be a response. That happens a lot where people are just like answering your question. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. So in this case, right, what would we do to move the conversation forward towards the sale, right?
I would probably say like, awesome, like let's get you started.
Yeah, that's not a bad one, right? So we have what we call double confirmation.
Yeah.
Remember that double confirmation script? Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Or ask them if.
Yeah, it's like, so you could be like, brilliant. So do you have I'm sorry. Yeah, you'd be like, brilliant. Like, do you have 3 minutes right now to complete the enrollment, or did you have any other questions for me? Yeah. So, but you see where it's like, but the analogy I want you to remember is that like, if there is no direct no, then that means that we can move the conversation one step forward. And so in this case, the next step forward is enrollment, right?
100%.
If I answered your question, you said, yes, it makes sense. Then it's like, all right, cool. Do you have, and so the reason that we do a double confirmation and not just that first line is because you want to move the conversation forward, then also still invite questions if they have them, right? So
exactly.
So from a strategic standpoint, we moved it forward because we asked for the sale, but then also we still gave them an out if they have more questions.
No, that makes sense. It's just like doing like what, like, oh, how did you find the video? It's just kind of delaying like the sale.
Correct. Well, because they've already watched it, right? And they're already so that first question that we asked, where it's about, okay, how do I fit this in my schedule, stuff like that. That's a buying question, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, we don't need to necessarily re-ask them about the video. They obviously like it, or else they wouldn't have asked that question.
No, that makes sense. Sometimes it's as obvious as like how you're explaining it. I don't have to overthink it.
No, don't overthink it at all. Don't overthink it at all.
Well, I go ahead and just like
yeah, just resend it. Yeah, just pretend like that's not there, and then you can, yeah.
Okay.
Bryce, are you getting flashbacks of when I taught you some of this stuff too?
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to find it when I did it in my docs. I did it in my own doc.
Yep, definitely getting flashbacks.
Yeah.
I was laughing because Bryce was like nodding. I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Yeah, okay, I get it." Yep.
It is the same video, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same course on the website. Yeah, 100%. And just for your context, Haley, so this brand, they sell a bunch of courses, right? So the program that we're offering is not necessarily its own program. It's just a bundle of everything. So the expanded consciousness program is a bundle of all of his programs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, so he has like a bunch of little, like I think he has like 10 or 12 different like little courses that basically makes up the Expand Your Consciousness program. But it's like, yeah, it's just we just basically took all of his courses and we wrapped it up together in a bundle and we said, hey, this is a new thing.
But it makes sense as well. It probably all ties together.
It does, yeah, it all does.
I don't know why that's sent twice.
Nah, you're good. It's a weird mini chat glitch. It only sent once, so you're good. I don't know why it pops up twice, but yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'd love to. Right. I knew that was coming.
Wally, do you see the top of the chest? Someone just said ayahuasca.
Oh my God, yeah.
I knew it. You see, they tell us about all their drug stuff. It's crazy.
Jesus, they trust this guy. Is my memory right in saying you're not allowed to direct transfer? It's only like credit or debit card.
Correct. Yeah, you only credit or debit card, or if they have PayPal, which they can hook up their credit or
Yeah.
their credit card or debit card to PayPal as well. So PayPal also works.
I don't know if that was okay.
No, that was a great question.
No?
That's a solid question. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question because it's like if you're not saying take out your credit card and buy, you're just
Yeah.
saying are those do you have those available, which is a good. It's sometimes you want to ask questions like that where it's like you're implying things, but you know you're
It's
implying
basically like
things,
you
but you're
should
not
buy.
necessarily directly saying, "Hey, buy this." Sometimes it does make
100%.
sense to say buy it, but in this case, he's already trying to buy, so it doesn't really make sense for us to. Yeah. So anyway, you got it.
No, 100%.
Nice. Okay, cool. We'll wrap up right there. So that's just I just throw an emoji to say sale in some way or
Yeah.
shape or form. Yeah. So
Okay.
cool. Just so we know when it's over. Awesome. But yeah, so what did we learn? I think we had some good closing type conversations here as we went through. So yeah, tell me what your feedback was or what you learned.
No, for sure. Every time you said something, I was like writing it down so I'd remember. Like always end with a question, of course, like leading question. Don't just leave it as a statement. And then I said like a live chat scenario. Maybe it's okay for a statement, but to always kind of end with a leading question. And then I wrote down your little analogy, gas pedal. Acknowledge, overcome objection, leading question, and as well about the video, like just don't double ask if they've watched the video. Like when they come back with a question, then they have. So, and double confirmation when we're kind of converting to the payment link, and then no direct transfer. That's kind of my notes on today.